What's good, y'all? Welcome into another episode of the I-80 football show on Fans First Football. That is not what that's called. Fans First Sports Network. That's what it's called. It's a Monday, and I am not at work, and we are recording late because it's Labor Day. Dante, do you know what Labor Day is? Why do we get this day off work?
I ain't even gonna.
Okay.
I have no idea. I know it's like No, I have no clue. Let me not even try. Like I have no clue why we have Labor Day. But I also don't know why like Flag Day and Arbor Day or everything. We don't get those days off, but like still.
Okay. I don't know either, but for whatever reason, we celebrate Labor Day. Although I think it has something to do with workers, which is crazy because
That's what I was thinking.
the people who actually need Labor Day off don't.
We don't get that day off.
Like the hourly workers and like the people who like really be like needing like labor unions and stuff like that. Like they still be here.
Yeah.
I need a better lighting or something. I got a whole
thinking about
little.
I am thinking about getting a ring light. I'm not even gonna lie.
Yeah, so I have a desk ring light. It's just not good enough. I bought a ring light for the wedding. I'm not going to tell you what happened to it because it's not my fault. But if I get into it, it's just going to bring up some things that don't need to be on this podcast. It's going to bring up some things about how I feel about certain people that we both know, and I'm going to just leave it alone. So, Fans First Sports Network. I think this is the last week, maybe even the last day that you can sign up for the Fans First Sports Network NFL deal. I'm still going to say it. Hopefully you can still sign up. If you haven't signed up already, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's 4 free tickets, $5,000 value for week one. Week one is here.
Week one is here.
Starts on Thursday. Crazy that we're here. Best time in the world. All you have to do is go to contest.fansfirstsports.com. You like the Facebook, you follow your favorite NFL podcast. They have one for all 32 teams, and you follow or subscribe to the mail letter, and that's it. That's all you got to do. It's easy. If you can still do it, you should do it, because if you haven't done it, we've said it. That's not on us. That's on you.
Yeah, that's on you. That's on you. Get it done. Don't mess up now. 56-19. Good Lord.
Yeah. Now, speaking of messing up, Dante, I love being right. But you know what I don't like? I love being right, but I don't like being right at the expense of other people.
Right.
Do you remember the multiple rants that I went on about Harold Perkins not being a good linebacker?
I believe so, yes.
So, of course, Harold Perkins is not a good linebacker, but he is a one-of-one athlete. Like, I know it's become a thing to compare people to Micah Parsons, and that shouldn't be, because Micah Parsons is a one-of-one athlete. But Harold Perkins at a lesser level, because I also don't think he has the same exact size as Micah Parsons. Micah Parsons is huge. And I'm not saying he's going to be an elite pass rusher in the NFL. But what I'm saying is his play style best resembles Micah Parsons, because Micah Parsons was also not a good linebacker, as we found when the Cowboys tried to make him play linebacker and he was mid, and every time we put him at pass rusher, he damn near got a sack. And they were like, you know what? We're just not going to do this linebacker experiment no more. It's clearly not for you.
It's not working.
Clearly, Brian Kelly does not listen to the podcast, and he should, because I tried to tell him that he's not a good linebacker, but he's a one-of-one athlete. And the way they used him last year, was how he should be used. They overthought it, and they say, well, his position says linebacker, so let's make him a linebacker. They put him at inside linebacker, took him out the game. He was one of the single most dynamic players last year as a freshman, which means over the summer, he should have got smarter, he should have got faster, he should have got bigger, he should have got stronger.
Yeah.
And instead, they spent the summer teaching him a position he's not good at.
Yeah, he's not good at.
And so he plays inside linebacker against FSU, makes no impact on the game. 0 sacks, 0 tackles for loss.
Did he have tackles?
He had 5, but
Okay.
that's mid for a starting inside linebacker,
39 seconds.
especially against a quarterback who can run. He essentially spent half the game as a QB spy because he doesn't know the intricacies of the game. He
Right.
spent 28. He spent, bless you, he spent
Thank you.
28 snaps, I believe it was, in coverage
36.
when he could have spent 28 snaps rushing the passer, and he probably would have had 1 or 2 sacks because Florida State's offensive line wasn't that great.
Yeah.
And I was right, and
Which
that's
is
cool. I like
that's
being
bad
right.
coaching. That's actually bad coaching because if you
Yeah,
know their offensive line isn't that great, and you know you have a freak athlete that can get to the quarterback, you might as well use them. And if you want them to play linebacker, that's fine. But in this situation,
it's
you
not
should
though.
use them.
It's,
In
it's
I mean, yeah, it's not. But like in this situation, you should definitely use him at what he is.
Yeah, and I put this in our group chat. It's like I have a love-hate relationship with Ohio State because Ohio State doesn't play people if they're not elite players. So we'll never have a Harold Perkins and we'll never have an Abdul Carter, both of who are in a similar vein of not good linebackers, but one-of-one athletes who are really good at rushing the passer and really good at blitzing. We have one of those on our team. We have one who was ranked higher than both of them in the recruiting rankings. He's
Right.
not starting right now because he's not a fully fledged linebacker, and we have a real deal linebacker in Tommy Eichenberg ahead of him. So that can be annoying sometimes as an Ohio State fan. But if you have a coach who is, but that's Ohio State's brand. Ohio State does that with everyone. It's why Jameson Williams left for Bama because he wasn't a complete wide receiver, and Ohio State wouldn't let him run 10 go routes a game. Bama did. He was great for them, first round pick. It's very annoying. We have another guy, Jaden Ballard, who's like that. He's not a complete wide receiver. Ohio State won't let him go out there and run 10 go routes a game, so he doesn't play as much. It's very annoying. But at least Ohio State is consistent. You let this kid be a game record as a freshman. Had people talking about he's the best player in the country, had people talking about first round pick, Heisman, all this other kind of stuff. And then you say, let me take what he's good at and not let him do it at all. And even if you wanted him to be an inside linebacker, on pass rushing snaps, you didn't like blitz him or let him rush. Like even if it's like what the Cowboys tried to do with Micah Parsons, where it was like 50-50, 60-40, where you do the inside linebacker stuff, but then when we need to get a pass rush, we put you at the line of scrimmage. They didn't even do that. They literally took their best defensive player out the game. And here's the other thing with that. Their secondary suspect. They already weren't great. And then I think they also have an injury or two out there. So whichever one you believe, whether it's front end helps the back end helps the front end. If you don't know what I'm talking about, it's the items that people talk about. Is the pass rush more important than the secondary more important than the pass rush? If you have a great pass rusher, does that make your secondary better? Or if you have a great secondary who locks down the receivers, does that make the pass rush better? Whichever one you believe in, they don't have a great secondary. Right. So they really needed the pass rush, and they didn't have it because they were out Mason Smith, who was suspended, but he's a defensive tackle. He's not an edge rusher. He's still a dog, but he's a defensive tackle. And then you took your best edge rusher and made him play zone coverage.
Bad coaching. And then you get, and not only that, you get shellacked.
Yeah.
You got
I'm not an LSU fan, but LSU fans also don't think they're starting their best quarterback. I don't know if that's true or not. That could be like an Ohio State thing where they always think the younger guy is better. So I'm not going to comment on if that is true or not because I don't know. But a lot of LSU fans feel like they're not starting their best quarterback either. So, and it's hilarious because they said that this quarterback, again, the national media, said that this quarterback was going to be a Heisman contender. He wasn't. He was never going to be that. Nah. But then you see him in the game, and it's like, come on, dog. So that's our news. Nothing else really happened. We'll say, like, if we get into all the good games, we're going to be in here for 6 hours, and we're not trying to do that. Right.
It was just crazy because I didn't see that game at all. And then I turned it on just to see what, because I was like, oh, yeah, this happening. And I saw 45 or something to 17. And I was like, oh. Okay, all right then.
Spanked them. All right, I don't get out of here early because it's a holiday. So we're going to take a quick break for the ads. After we get back, we are going to do a quick review. We have a new segment that I created literally today that I just thought about. We have the I-80 Player of the Week on offense and defense. We're going to preview some of the games next week. Sticko's Game of the Week, as always. And then we're going to do our pitch stops. That's the show for you. We'll be right back after the ads. All right, everybody. Welcome back to Fans First Sports Network I-80 Football Show. I'm your host, Jordan. I'm here with Dante. It's Labor Day.
Yep. Still don't know what it means. Oh, I guess I could Google what it means.
Yeah, Googling was easy. I just wanted to know if you knew because I didn't know. Like, I just wanted to know, like, if that was one of them common knowledge things or not. And
no. Sometimes, so it's funny because sometimes I just know random stuff. This I don't know.
Yeah.
So it's first Monday to honor and recognize American labor movement and the works and contributions of laborers to the development and achievement of the United States. So it's just to celebrate workers. That's what I thought.
And the people who really need to be celebrated.
Really need it.
Cool.
Yep.
Like,
we are right on the dot.
I like my job. I think my job is important. I work at a college, but like there are people who need the day off more than me.
Yeah, I like I'll tell you this, like fast food places are still open. Like and those are laborers. Like
my second job is still open. It's shorter hours, but they still open.
I'm pretty sure Amazon, all that's still open. I probably could order a ring light and have it. If I got it today, I might be able to get it.
Yeah, probably. Maybe not now because it's 2, but if you would have ordered at like 9 or something,
like
today, yeah. All right, so for those of you who don't remember, we put our name to every game. We pick every game, and then we keep track of said games for end of season competition. I don't know if Dante wants the same thing that I want or whatever, but we're doing close again.
No, I want a really good record, or at least winning record.
No, I'm talking about if you win, which is not gonna happen, but like what you want if you win.
All right, bro.
Yeah.
Okay. So, all right.
At least for me, I have a Kent State home field apparel shirt on the line, and I really should be wearing it. I was wearing one when I first got it during the Kent State game. This is not an advertisement because they don't pay us, but this shit was sexy. And that's actually like my least favorite one that I got. I got it because my wife liked it. Like I like it, but it was my least favorite one.
It's low,
and that was still sexy. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah. So
no, there's a Kent State hoodie I was looking at.
Yeah, which one was it? The light blue one?
Mm-hmm.
I got that one. Yeah, I can't wait to pull that out. I can't wait to pull that out. That's funny. Yeah.
Bet. All right.
So we got some Kent State home field apparel on the line, and right now we are neck and neck. I think you copied me, but it's cool. You should be 15-1 because I picked Purdue to lose to Fresno State first.
You're right. But then I went and looked at Fresno State's record the season before and looked at what they were on offense.
Stop changing your picks.
And then I was like, oh, Purdue has a whole new coach because you reminded me that they had a new coach, and I was like, oh, I'll flip this.
I need to stop talking. I just need to let shit rock.
I was like, no, I'm gonna change this because we didn't get to Purdue yet. I was like, man, I can change this right now.
Yeah. So we went 15-0 this week. We were probably some of the only people that predicted Purdue to lose to Fresno State. 15-0 and not 18-0 because some Big Ten teams played each other, right?
Yep.
That's how we got to that. We were 1-0 last week with USC. So 16-0, starting out strong. And we need this because there's a couple of teams of Illinois who's about to ruin my record, dog. Like, what are we doing?
Shoot. Michigan State was scaring me for a half.
Hey, yeah, but I was lower on them, so I might be all right on them.
Yeah, you're fine.
Illinois might screw me, bro. Okay, so we'll just run down the
scared
games.
Me for a second there too.
Yeah. Oh my God. I was right though. Minnesota's not going to be good this year.
Yeah, sadly, yeah.
Okay, so let's run down the games. Nebraska, Minnesota won 13-10. Michigan State, Central Michigan. Michigan State won 31-7. The game was not as big of a blowout as the final score indicates. They were struggling for like 2.5 quarters.
Yeah, they struggled. Yeah, they piled it on. They got it at the end. They got it together in the middle of the third and was able to pile it on.
Michigan won against East Carolina 30-3. We're going to
Mm.
talk about that game because it was not impressive. Fresno State beat Purdue 39-35. Iowa beat Utah State 24-14. They did not get to 25 points. And here's the thing. If Iowa's going to get to 325, they need to be beating these teams by like 30 or 40. And they started out so good. It was like
They started
14,
off
17
really
points
well
in the first quarter, and then they just didn't score again to the fourth because their offense is ass. Dante's going to tell you something different, but it is what it is.
I'm not going to tell you anything. I'm not going to. I'm just going to ask a question.
Yeah, that I'm not asking. Wisconsin won against Buffalo 38-17. That was also not that impressive. Ohio State beat Indiana 23-3. That was also not impressive.
It was not. It was
three straight,
not.
like a bunch of just unimpressive wins.
Mm-hmm.
Maryland beat Towson 38-6. That was impressive. It's Towson, but like I think we were right. Like Maryland's gonna win 8-9 games. Like,
they should,
and we're gonna talk about the three teams in the East, and one of them in particular. I'm not predicting them to lose the game, but if their defense shows the warts that I just thought I saw, the game's gonna be more interesting. I'll just say that they'll probably still win, but it's gonna be more interesting. I would still be surprised, but all three teams are on upset watch for Maryland. If all three teams play like they did in week 1 against Maryland, one of them could lose to Maryland.
One of them is losing that game.
I don't think all of them are going to keep playing at that level. It's week 1, and I'm going to say this a couple of times because I'm going to be pretty, like, on all three of them, including Ohio State, I'm going to be pretty critical of them because I don't think any of them played a good game, to be honest with you. But I'll tell you why. But I watched all three games. I'll tell you why. I think the scores, for different reasons, but I think the scores were not really indicative of what the games were.
I think out of the three, are you talking about? Michigan, Ohio State, and Penn State? Yeah. I think Penn State had the more impressive day out. Out of those three?
No. Okay. Sorry. More impressive, sure.
Yeah.
Actually impressive, no.
Yeah. No, I said they were the most impressive out of those three on Saturday.
Right, but like barely, and we'll get into it. Okay, where am I at? Illinois needed a last-second field goal to beat Toledo.
Man. Toledo gonna win the MAC, aren't they?
They won last year. They're probably winning again. Yeah.
Man.
Penn State beat West Virginia 38-15. Another game where the final score is not indicative of what the game really was. USC beat Nevada 66-14. UCLA beat Coastal Carolina 27-13. Washington beat Boise State 56-19. Oregon beat Portland State 81-7. And I didn't put the score on that one.
Oh my goodness! I forgot the mascot's name, but that man had to do, I think,
Bucky. It's Bucky the Duck,
something like that. He had to do 500 something push-ups.
Yeah, because it's 81 and then it's 80 and then because they do one for each point.
Yeah. So there's 7 and then 14, so you got to do 14 more.
Yeah,
and they just keep adding that number on.
No, they tried to kill him. Yeah, I'd quit.
I would have quit easily. Ain't no way.
It's like, come on, bro.
546 push-ups.
In a costume? I'm not doing
hot
that.
Ass costume.
I'm not doing on a hot ass costume on a hot ass day. I'm not doing that regularly. I'm definitely not. You tripping. You could not pay me enough. And I know they do not pay these mascots enough. I know they don't. I know some of the places is basically for free because they're students and stuff.
Yeah, you just volunteer to do it. You don't get paid to do that. I don't think any school pays anyone to be a mascot.
I do think some schools have professional mascots. It wouldn't surprise me if Ohio State has a professional mascot.
Professional? I don't know. I think it's definitely a student.
I think some schools are. Listen, you could be right, but I'm telling you, it would not surprise me if some schools had professional mascots.
Okay.
I do know for a fact that West Virginia's is a student.
I know for a fact Kent State, Bowling Green, and Toledo's is a student.
Yeah, but like I'm talking about like Ohio
I'm
State.
pretty sure Ohio
Those
State's
are the
is a
top,
student.
top,
I have
top,
to.
top
I'm gonna
two.
talk because you know what? I know someone that went to.
I mean, listen, they very well could be.
Yeah.
There's also multiple of them at big schools like that because they have to be at multiple games and stuff like that.
Games
But,
or doing events like
yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so
But
the
still,
definition.
546 push-ups in one day.
Tripping.
Yeah, he might
Rutgers,
honestly and truthfully, he might have pulled something.
yeah,
Because you can overdo it. Like that's
yeah,
straining. Like that could fuck up something. You don't really
for
need
sure.
to do 500
So,
push-ups in 4 hours.
ain't no way. And then Rutgers beat Northwestern 24-7. That I think is the only game on this list I didn't see, well, aside from some of the Pac-12 games.
I did not.
I think that's the only game on this list I didn't see some of.
I didn't see that game. I didn't see Michigan's game. That wasn't on television.
Yeah, it was. Oh no! It was on Peacock. It was on Peacock.
Yeah, that wasn't on television. And I wasn't going to. I'm not downloading Peacock. I'm sorry.
No. Yeah. I have Peacock, so yeah. So this should have been my pit stop. It's not. We're going to get into it right now. YouTube's TV split screen. Oh, like, and it's gonna get better because right now,
isn't it just NFL's ticket split screen?
No, it's college football.
Oh, it's college football split screen.
So here's the problem. Currently, it's brand new. So they do it based on an algorithm of like you get like 15 options. So you still get a good mix, but you can't pick all the games. And so like I couldn't get every game that I want. Like for example, Penn State and West Virginia was going to be my main screen TV, but I couldn't get the Illinois game and any of the suggestions that they gave me. So I to watch that one, I had to put that on my main screen so I could, and then I still got the Penn State and whatever other games that I was looking at, Penn State, South Carolina, and other ones. Yeah. I still had the sound on Penn State, but I had to watch it in like a smaller box because I wasn't able to like handpick the games, which they said is supposed to be coming at some point. But
I don't understand why that wasn't a thing to begin with. I don't know,
but also
because there's already other things that has that and it works. Steal it.
Yeah,
like but honestly,
I think it's just I think they weren't planning on doing it, to be completely honest with you, because everything that I heard was it was only NFL Sunday Ticket, because I googled it and I looked for it, and so I think it's like what you're going to talk about with video games. They rolled out something that was incomplete because they weren't prepared. So like they literally like responded to my tweet about it. That's how I know that they're going to do it, because someone gets paid to like search YouTube TV.
On Twitter,
yeah, on everything.
Oh, okay. Like, then yeah, I'm sure it is coming. I'm like it doesn't. It's just.
But they literally responded. They said we're only sharing curated multi-view streams from YouTube TV for now, but we'll let you know if that changes in the future. But either way, it's still amazing because I watched 5 games in all 3 Windows slots, and I didn't have my laptop up yet. I wasn't in full season form because there was a couple games I didn't watch because I didn't put up my laptop. I wasn't in mid-season form. There's a couple games I didn't watch because I didn't want to open up my laptop. But I'm going to get to that point where I'm going to have a game on my laptop, a main screen game with the sound on, and then 4 games on the TV. And if it's a really cool slate, I might have 2 games on my computer because I have 2 monitors. So that's 8 games that I might be watching.
See, now I think what they should do, and this would set that whole idea they got going on perfectly, is that just don't have it on just TV. Have it on the app and everything too, so I could do like on my computer or maybe not a phone. I could get that with a phone. That makes sense, like a phone or an iPad. That might be a little too small, but a computer. You don't know how big my monitor is. Yeah. Like, so I should be able to do it on a computer.
They wrote out incomplete, but it was great. The wife was in here. She was like, "You really have on 5 games at once?" I was like, "Yes." And she's like, "How do you do this?" I was like, "For one, I was like, look, this game is on commercial. This game's on commercial. This game, substituting, and this one they're about to run a play. Very rarely do they all have something happening at the same
At the
time.
same time, yeah.
And then I only watch one with sound. It's just like going to the bar. It's just at home and better. So
Yeah.
that's great. Do you have any thoughts in general about any of the games, the ones that we're not going to review, which is just Ohio State, Penn State, Michigan? I know you have them written down.
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, I have those few that I brought up that I have typed there, but that's about it.
Yeah, so let's get into it.
Yeah. So, like you said, Illinois needed a last-second field goal to get a win over Toledo, and really almost messed both of us up to start the season. Bruh, I don't know what happened in that game because I had it up and I'm watching it and I'm still not even sure what happened there.
Yeah, I watched that game.
I watched it, but I wasn't. I remember looking down. I went to go tweet like, all right, good. Y'all turned it around, Illinois. And then I looked back up and Toledo had the lead. And I was like, Illinois is really trying to lose this game. I didn't understand why.
A part of it is their defense wasn't great. And I understand like DeQuan Finn can be hard to like guard. Dude, he threw for 230 yards, 2 touchdowns, and he ran for 75 yards and a touchdown. And Ohio State, I mean, they won soundly, but they struggled a little bit against him. He had a really good game against Ohio State.
Yes, he did.
So I do understand that, but also like they just
I thought they was just gonna, just control the clock and be methodical in that situation.
Well, that's the thing, they couldn't run. Their leading rusher on yards and yards per carry was the quarterback. And he's not a mobile quarterback.
Yeah.
Reggie Love III, 12 carries, 58 yards, 4.8 yards per carry. That's respectable, but that's an NFL yards per carry. That's not what you see in college a lot.
True.
And Josh McCray, man, just fell off. 11 for 30, 2.7 yards per carry. Rough.
Don't know what's happening there. And it's just going to get worse because Toledo's defense probably isn't that good.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so. So that was tough. Another thing out of this game, parents, hospitals. I know you can't tell people what to name their kids, but could you at least have a conversation with them? Could you at least be like, are you dead ass? Jerzan Newton, which is already a crazy name that we didn't talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Has a brother that plays for Toledo.
Oh.
And his brother's name is Jerwan Newton. J-E-R, capital J, U-A-N, Jerwan Newton.
Jerwan
and Jerzan. That is their name.
I'm sorry.
Can you just
I'm sorry. Did they blacken a Mexican name?
Yes.
Jerwan.
Yes.
Newton. All right, bro. Hey, you know what?
Hey, Jerwan had a decent game. 5 catches, 51 yards. Also, he's a wide receiver, and his brother is a huge defensive tackle. And it's just hilarious the body type differences that you can have in siblings.
Yep.
It's like this dude is like 6'2", 6'3", 300 pounds, and then his brother's like 6'1", like 205 maybe. Like it's crazy.
Yep. Genetics are weird.
Yeah, please stop naming your kids anything. Do you want to start lying to people now about Iowa? Do you just want to get this off?
It's not a lie, bro.
It is.
No, it's not.
Go ahead.
You mean to tell me
it gets?
All right, listen. We are comparing. We're comparing to what we saw last year. We are always talking about compared to last year. If you could be any better, you can win the West with ease and maybe even compete in that Big Ten game, depending on who your opponent is. Depending on the opponent. Can you sit there and look me straight in my eyes and tell me that Iowa's offense didn't look better than what you saw last year? Even when they had the little lull period in the game, that offense doesn't look better than what you saw last year.
The only thing I can definitively say that was better is the quarterback didn't throw an interception because he doesn't throw interceptions.
He doesn't know.
That's
But
the only thing I can definitively say was better.
no, because even the offense looked more even aggressive. They took shots down the
Yeah.
field and things like that. I compared to what you saw, the offense I saw last year was dog water.
Okay,
This
but that's but hear me out.
what I
That's not
saw
what you said.
yesterday, what I saw yesterday, what I
What
saw
you
yesterday
said
can
is
win
they
10
were
games.
competent.
Competent. Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Last year, listen, this is competency. This is competent. You put up 2 touchdown scores in the first
17
half.
for 30 for 191 yards. They ran the ball 36 times for 88 yards.
It's much better than last year.
2.4 yards. No, it's 2.4 yards per carry.
I'm pretty sure they were 2.1. And look, 0.4 and 0.1 is a huge difference, and you know that.
The QBR was 35.9. Dante, this is the same team, bro. Stop lying. Oh my god, bro.
I think it's better than last
fine.
year's. I do think I for sure think it's better than last year's offense by far.
Okay.
I don't think
Their
it's going to be.
offensive line is awful.
That's true.
It's
That's true.
awful.
And even then, I don't think K got. I think he was maybe sacked once or twice. I don't even think he saw the. If I'm not
He was only sacked once.
once.
Their defense also not as good.
No, it's
Like
not. No, it's
not
not.
awful.
That's why I was
but
like,
not
even
as
so,
good.
it's not as good, which is even impressive in the fact that they put up 24 points. Their offense actually put up 24 points.
Mm,
There was not a defensive score in that game.
mm.
Was there? There was a turnover. I think
One of those. They had a 54-yard kick return from their running back, who's not a
and
good running
again, we
back, which
talked
is
about this.
hilarious.
You brought this up. You brought this up before we started recording. And again, in any last year in that situation, they're either coming away with 3 or nothing. In a
They
good amount
kicked.
of the time, they
They
came
kicked.
away with
They
nothing.
kicked a 20-yard field goal, which means there was another time they came away with nothing. Dante, you just can't like. Is it better? Maybe
It's better than last year.
but like 35.9 QBR, 17 for 30, 191 yards, 88 total team rushing yards. No, against Utah State.
Yeah. I mean,
No,
their
no.
offense was so bad regardless last
They
year.
gave up, Dante. They gave up.
I'm not saying the
Okay,
team. I'm just talking
okay.
about the offense.
All
I'm
right.
saying the offense. The team as a whole is not as good as it was last year. As a whole, I guess. I guess.
They gave up 213 yards passing, which is not awful, but for
No,
them against Utah
that's not
State is
Iowa.
awful. And they gave up 116 rushing yards. Like Utah State had a good day for
Yeah.
them.
No,
Like they
what
should
I'm
be
saying.
proud of. Like you want to score a little
Now,
bit
if
more.
that's
Like
the
Utah State
discussion,
should be proud of what they did
yeah, if
against
that's the
Iowa,
discussion, if we talk
and
about as a team
that's
thing and
unacceptable.
yeah, their defense doesn't look nearly as good as it was last year. But I'm saying their offense is better than what it was last year. I think they put up 20 points twice last year. They already started off the year with 20.
No, they did it definitely more than that.
You're probably right.
Because they
Probably.
had a couple games where they only scored 6. They put up 30 twice, 20 a
Oh
couple of
yeah, they did
times.
put up
Like
30 twice. Yeah,
yeah, but and that's the thing.
but that the
This
defense
is what
scored in those games.
There was one game where they had good, 1 or 2 games where their offense was all right in the middle of the year, and people were talking about it. Okay,
I'm just saying. I think it
we're just
looks
gonna have
more
to agree to
competent.
disagree. I'm
I
just
think it
gonna
looks more
say
competent than it did last year.
their offensive line looks worse. Their running game looks worse. They do have a wide receiver who looked better than what they've had last year. I will give them that.
Yeah.
That corner route he ran was sexy. That shit, like
And there
he
was
whoop,
a
whoop, whoop, hit him. It was Teats tape. Whoop, whoop, leaned on him, stepped in on him, turned him around, and then broke out outside. Was wide open. Just that was
their tight
sexy.
end ran a nice route and caught the ball
Yeah,
when it was thrown to him.
Luke Lachey's nice. He's
Yeah.
gonna be good. He's gonna be all
Yeah.
right. Okay, so we'll agree to disagree. I will give them credit that I did like their wide receiver and that the
You
quarterback
don't
won't
think
throw
they're more
interceptions.
competent than they were last year?
It's still Brian Ferentz, dog, and it was Utah State. No, I
All
don't.
right.
I think it's the
Listen,
same team.
I think if they start attacking if they continue to attack down the field and try
I
to
don't
get
think
big
they
plays
can.
stuff like that, I think that receiver and I think that Lachey can get down and get open down
Cool,
the field.
sure, maybe if the offensive line can block,
I mean,
because it was beautiful, but it was also like a 20-yard route. So like,
yeah,
his long was 36, which isn't awful, but like, how many times can he do that with that offensive line?
true. That's a good point. But I don't think their
So
offensive line was that good last year anyway.
yeah, but it's worse, which is the problem.
Fair.
Okay, so let's get into this. And you didn't watch all the games, so I'm going to say what I have to say, and then I want you to tell me if you agree or disagree. But I want to be clear, as I've said on the preview shows, all three of these teams have been talked about as if they can win a natty. I'm being overly critical. I don't expect these issues to last for all of them past week one.
No,
Now, if they
this should
do,
last for about 3 weeks.
you heard it here first. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I'm
These
gonna,
issues should last about 3 weeks at the most.
yeah. But it's still concerning because some of the issues just shouldn't exist. Like some of them make sense, others don't. So I'm gonna get Ohio State out the way. Dante, I hate to admit that you were right. I'm ready to fire Ryan Day. You were right. I'm sorry. I can't handle it. He's soft. He's soft. He's so soft. It just.
I
Okay.
told you that
Okay.
last year. I said it
Hear
to you
me
last
out.
year. I was like, he's a weird soft coach.
Here's the thing.
He makes weird decisions that don't make sense.
Looking at the game objectively, I don't think it was as bad as people say. I think Ohio State had the I'm going to explain it. I think Ohio State, from the players' perspective, let me start there. From the
Okay.
players' perspective, I don't think it was as bad as people say. Of the three teams, I think Ohio State had the toughest opponent. Not tough, just toughest. ECU and West Virginia are bad. West Virginia's coach is going to get fired by week 5. He's awful.
Well, Indiana has a new coach, right?
No,
so
it's the same coach. Same one. He's also going to get fired eventually, but they have a better team. They like, as bad as we talked about them last year, I still think they won like 4 games. Like,
yeah, true.
Other teams may not do that. Like,
well, West Virginia, what did West Virginia do last year?
Awful. I don't remember, but it wasn't good. And I think that, okay. So watching West Virginia against Penn State, maybe tomorrow I would pick West Virginia to beat Indiana. Maybe because their offense looked a little bit better than I thought, which is a concern for Penn State's defense. We'll get into it. But if I didn't see that game going into the season, I would have picked Indiana to beat West Virginia.
Okay.
And ECU. But that's not the point. Ohio State.
Well, yeah, I'm picking both of them to beat ECU regardless.
Yeah, from a player perspective, I don't think the game was as bad as people thought. It was coaching malpractice. People talked about the offensive
which is concerning still.
Yes, which is why he's soft and needs to get fired.
And I think that gives concern. I think that's fair for everybody to have that crazy amount of concern. Because even like players, yeah, they didn't play bad, but then again, it's not about just the players. Coaching is just as important.
Yeah, but here's the thing: Ryan Day does this all the time. Wins 11 games and will never win a national championship. Says he's soft, so it's a concern of sorts. He also did the same exact thing last year against Notre Dame. He did the same exact thing last year, 2 years ago against Minnesota.
Sure
so
did.
He fixes it ish. It's just for the general scheme of things, he hasn't learned a single thing. He hasn't gotten better. So the offensive line wasn't as bad as people thought. And here's the thing. People don't always know how to judge offensive line. Dante, you know football, but even if you didn't know football, you know Madden. If there are 4 linemen and you're running, especially a power play where you want to pull, right?
So you should probably have 5 down linemen at that point.
Do you pull away? Do you pull to the 3 tech or away from the 3 tech? No, I'm not even going to ask that. Do you run to the running strength or away from the running strength?
You always want to run away from their strength, if that's what you're asking me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and you run to your running strength.
Yeah, you're running strength. On
Madden, you look at the running game, and they give you a little.
They'll let you know.
A little square that says this is the running strength. It is typically away from the 3 tech to get into some football reasons, and here's why. When you're running an inside running scheme, so inside the tackle, you typically double team the 1 or the 3 and get to a linebacker.
Yep.
Okay? We all know this. If you don't know this, I'm going to break it down for you very, very quickly. If you have a guy that is in between two people, it is much easier to double team him, potentially turn him inside, and then go to the linebacker.
And then the person on the outside goes to the linebacker.
Right. Versus a guy who is, instead of being directly in between you, is on the far outside shoulder of the outside player, and you're expecting the inside guy to go 2 spots over to get away from the 3, to get to the 3 tech. So then the other guy, the right guard in this instance, let's say the center right guard, the right guard has to get outside of the 3 tech, who's outside of him, by the way.
Yeah.
Get past him to get to the linebacker. And the center, who is 3 gaps over from the 3 tech, has to get to the 3 tech.
Well,
and you have to move the 3 tech to run the ball right there.
Yeah. Well, and here's my thing. It's either we flip the play or I change it to an audible.
Okay. Right.
But I don't know
Madden
how much I don't know how much freedom.
Madden would tell you that.
Yeah.
You know what didn't happen?
Any of that.
Any of it. And
well,
that's not
now here's my thing.
That's on the coach.
Yeah. So in this instance, because I don't pay that. I pay a lot of attention to college football, but like quarterbacks are usually the ones that make the audible. Now, is there freedom to do that at Ohio State? I've never really seen it.
No,
I've usually seen the play is called and the play is ran.
And it's a concern that people have about Ohio State quarterbacks coming out. But what most of them have proven is not that they can't do it; they just aren't allowed. CJ,
they just need to learn. They just need to learn now. Sadly,
in the playoffs. In the playoffs, or one of the games, the players literally talked about how CJ Stroud said F it and called his own play because he didn't like what Ryan Day was calling. And he called slants, which Ryan Day has never called in his life. And I was like, I was tweeting and I was like, oh, wow, Ryan Day figured out a slant. And then after the game, I found out that he was doing hand signals with the wide receivers and calling whatever he wanted to because he didn't like Ryan Day's play. Until you get to that level of confidence, you just have to run what is called. And so here's the thing. Yeah, the offensive line looks bad, but it looks bad because you're running to the defense's strength instead of away from it. And you're asking them to do something. And I still think that was the best part of your day.
And that's crazy. And I still think that was the best part of your offense that yesterday was the run game.
Yes. Yeah. So that's part of it. The offensive line, no, it wasn't great, but they held up except for one play. The dude got confused on a blitz. It happens. Dude didn't get sacked. He threw the ball. It wasn't a fumble. It was an incomplete pass. It happens. You don't like it, but he whatever. But a lot of
they ended up calling it incomplete pass?
Yeah, it was incomplete. When a lot of it
I don't know if I can agree with that. But
it genuinely was incomplete. He was in the passing.
That ball was out of his hand, and his hand was still back here.
It was not close. It wasn't close. If I see it out, it wasn't even close. It wasn't debatable. It wasn't debatable. That was a pass.
It's a different game I'm thinking about because
I think it is. The Ohio State.
No, because he threw his hand was still back here.
No, it wasn't. I'm telling you, the Ohio State one wasn't debatable. They didn't even think about it long. They watched it for like 5 seconds and called it. It wasn't close. It was a pass.
I'm trying. I got to figure out what I'm remembering.
I watched the game because the game that you're thinking about, and I don't remember which game was the game that you're thinking about. They did call it a fumble, or maybe they did. Either way, the Ohio State one, it wasn't. Whatever. Okay. So they weren't great. I'm not sitting here saying they're the best line we've ever had, but it wasn't as bad as people thought. A lot of it was just them asking them to do things that they couldn't do. Yeah. And they're just like it's just not smart football. You just don't do it. And then Ryan Day comes out at the end and admits to calling conservative on the offense. We don't know if Kyle McCord is good or not. He made a couple good throws. He made one really stupid.
But the thing is,
but here's the thing with the stupid decision. It was on a bad play. You have Marvin Harrison. It's 4th down, and you don't throw to him. You're throwing to a running back out the backfield who got cut. I thought it was illegal, but I don't remember the rules. They keep changing the rules on if you're allowed to cut people out the backfield or not. But he didn't fall. He got cut. illegal or not, because the rules change all the time. And now his number one receiver wasn't there. Should he have threw across his body? No. But should that play have been called when you have Marvin Harrison Jr. and you could have ran an out,
What did
a
he get?
slant, or a stop
Marvin
route?
Harrison Jr. had what, like 3 catches?
He had 2, and he
2
had
catches?
like 4 targets or something crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Ryan Day's the only coach in America that wouldn't force feed. Like, I watched the LSU game. Keon Coleman is good, but he's not as good as Marvin Harrison. Keon Coleman got fed. He got fed. Anytime they needed something, they fed Keon Coleman. Lesser receivers are getting 10, 12 targets a game. And Marvin Harrison is getting, and it's 4th down. Like it happened last year in the playoffs. 4th down, you need this, and you're calling plays to the tight end instead of the best wide receiver in the country. And even if he wasn't the best wide receiver in the country, you were bedding of 5-star wide receivers, and you're throwing to your converted linebacker. And sure, he had 5 catches, 98 yards. He had a good day. He's not a first-round pick at tight end. He's not. But you have 3 potential first-round picks at wide receiver, and you don't throw to them when you need to. So I don't know if Kyle McCord is good or not, because it was coaching malpractice, and it was dumb.
But even then, when him saying that he was coaching conservative, if your reason for it is because you're concerned about Kyle McCord, you coached conservatively last year and the year before. So what was the reason for that? So
he's soft. He's soft. He's terrified of people. Like, he's terrified of
and it's crazy because Ohio State fans, in the very least, and then like college football fans, especially in the media, but Ohio State fans respect risk taking.
And here's the thing: when he was the offensive coordinator, he took risk.
Mm-hmm.
When
it's easier to do that, though.
But that's why he shouldn't be calling plays. And he told us he was going to give it to Brian Hartline, and then he didn't, because he's a liar and he's scared. He was scared to give up the sticks, and then he coached like that. Yep. Bro, I'm tired of him. I almost want to go 9-3 so they fire him. I want to lose to Ohio State.
Who's the third loss?
Wisconsin or Notre Dame.
Oh, Notre Dame might be more fireable offense.
Because I'd never want to lose to Michigan. I want to lose to Wisconsin, Notre Dame, and Penn State, so they fire him.
Oh, and those are the 3? And sir.
I know that's not realistic. I know
for him to get fired, it has to be Penn State, Michigan, Notre Dame.
And then So,
because you got to lose that 3 in a row at the end of the season after losing to Notre Dame and Penn State. That 3rd in a row, pack them the fuck up.
The defense was awesome. It was great.
Mm-hmm.
Sonny Styles literally made a play from one hash to the opposite sideline and beat the other people from the other side of the field to make the tackle. Just sick. Dude is sick. Running game looked good. Like, shockingly, it looked better than Michigan and Penn State's, which we'll get into now. I'm done with my Ohio State rant. Ryan Day saw. I'm not worried about Ohio State week to week, because he's done this and he's done better.
Yeah,
but it's annoying that he's done it.
But that's the thing;
shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah,
because he's going.
My thing is, it just sounds like you're doing the same shit you've done before. So that means a possible 3 in a row is in the horizon.
Yes,
it's on the horizon.
Exactly, because you haven't learned, and you sit here all offseason talking.
And now you haven't learned from your mistakes, and now you have a whole new quarterback.
Yep. So
regardless of who you start, it's a whole new quarterback.
Lovely. Michigan.
I think
their running game didn't look good.
Yeah, I think they took it easy.
I disagree. I think that they're 31 carries, 122 yards, 3.9 yards per carry against East Carolina. They had a 37-yard run, a 21-yard run, and a 14-yard run. So over half of that came on 3 carries. So I'm just going to do the math. I'm going to do the math because why not? So let's see. 37 plus 21 plus 14 is 72. 122 minus 72 is 50. So what is that? That's 28 divided by 50. Is that right? No. It's 50 divided by 28. So aside from those 3 runs, on 28 other runs, they averaged 1.7 yards per carry. They were getting stopped on short yardage. They were like Blake Corum, who's the one that had the big runs, which is not good because Donovan Edwards is supposed to be the more explosive one. Blake Corum looked slow because here's the thing. He had the bigger runs, But one of those last year would have been a touchdown. Another one where he got like 10 yards or something on it, he would have gotten like 25.
Still could be getting his conditioning.
I know, and that's what I'm saying. I'm being overly critical. I'm not saying that this is going to be issues that plague them forever, but you have to talk about the game. And I'm not going to make excuses for what I saw. I'm just going to talk about what I saw. And we talked about it that like that's an injury that's hard to come back from. I'm not dogging him. I want to be clear about that. But 31 carries for 3.9 yards per carry against ECU. This is a team that Michigan runs for 200 yards and 4 touchdowns against last year.
But
and
also,
the year before that.
Yeah, that's true. But JJ, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns.
Did you watch
the game? He had 3 TDs.
You didn't watch the game, did you?
He had 3 TDs.
No, you said you didn't watch the game. Okay.
No, it was up. I had it up. Oh, no. That one I couldn't see. I just saw the highlights of the game. And I'm looking here, 280 yards, 3 touchdowns. I mean, I got the job done. Damn, all those touchdowns with the one dude.
Listen.
They all went to one guy.
I will give JJ credit in that he worked hard this offseason, you could tell.
His throwing mechanics look a little more sharp too.
He was very accurate. Almost all of his passes were short. I don't think it was good enough. And this is
so everybody was just being conservative.
I don't think so.
On Saturday.
I don't think so. Ohio State was being conservative. Michigan, I don't know. Because they were running the ball, it just wasn't running well. This is what I'll say.
I do think running the ball is conservative type of offensive play calling. I think Michigan has always kind of had a conservative play calling when it comes to offense.
So I don't know. So whatever. Actually, no.
Because you can run a lot of running the ball. Running the ball won't get you a lot of points, but it controls the clock and can control the game.
But here's another thing that is not true for Michigan. They threw the ball 31 times, ran it 31 times. Throwing 31 times against ECU isn't good.
Wow.
Because
unless they were just testing something. That too.
See, this is why I hate having these conversations with you. Because
no, bro. Are we not supposed to get better are we not supposed to test the limits?
So you think they went out there against ECU when every year under Jim Harbaugh, they've ran the ball down every single team's throat religiously, and you think they went out there and said, let's be different?
No, because they did run the ball, but I also think
they ran
we
the
could
ball
try some stuff too.
I think they passed because the running game wasn't good. And
I think it's a mixture of both. I could go with a mixture of both. They wasn't running the ball well, so they were like, well, now we can try this stuff.
The running game was horrible.
Yeah. I'm not saying you're wrong about that.
It was awful. That is not something that I do not believe that they left that game feeling good about themselves. That was an awful showing against a bad team who was getting, hold on, let me see.
What the fuck?
What's
the name? They had 3 different running backs in that game? Because Blake Corum only had 10 carries. So at least that's what ESPN is showing me. Blake Corum only had 10 carries. Oops.
Yeah, and Donovan Edwards had 12. They had 22 of the but that's my point. Because the running game wasn't working. Yeah. They had 1.7 yards per carry on 28 carries. They had 2 good plays that would have been better plays last year. And they had to rely on passing, which is not how, like, if you fix whatever and Ohio State's at its best and Penn State's at its best, this showing makes me believe that they could lose the both of them. If they don't fix it, of course, because again, I'm not making declarative statements on.
I can say that for. I'd say that for you. Yeah,
I know, but I'm saying it about all 3 teams. Like that's my point. That's why I want to talk about them. I feel the same way about all of them. None of them look great.
No.
Penn State
looked the best out of the 3.
Yeah. It was West Virginia. West Virginia's awful.
Okay, man. Indiana's not that good,
are.
and ECU is also terrible. So, like I'm saying, Penn State had the better showing. We can agree how they all were. They all had terrible showings. We both just agreed on that.
Penn State's looks better because they scored 17 points in the fourth quarter. They scored 21 points through 3 quarters against ECU. That's not a good showing. We talk about it all the time. When you put up against West Virginia, we talk about it all the time. When you put points up in garbage time, I'm not giving you credit for that. If you look at it and you say, oh, 325 yards, 38 points, it looks good. It's not. That team last year is not giving 15 points up to West Virginia. That team last year is not scoring 21 points, 1 touchdown in 3 quarters, and having to put it on against a team that gave up in the fourth. I'm not giving them any credit for that. You can say
Penn State's offense wasn't that explosive last year. No, I know they put up a lot of points, but I wouldn't even say it was explosive. It was like methodical, and then you wait until your team gave up in the fourth. Penn State did that a lot last year.
I don't think that I don't think that's a good thing.
To beat down on your opponent until they give up in the fourth.
Is that how you view that? Really? Putting garbage time touchdowns and beating up on them till they give up.
No. You beat them through the whole game. Because they had the lead. Not the whole game. Hold on.
Right. Okay. So.
Because how did they run the ball?
35 for 146, 4.2 yards per carry.
So the best out of the day.
No, Ohio State's was better. Ohio State had 4.6 yards per carry on less carries. Which is another thing because no one going into this thought that Ohio State had the better, not that they were bad, but everyone, including me and you, agreed that they had the worst offensive line of the 3, and they had the worst running backs of the 3, and not worse as in
they
bad.
They might end up still having the worst offensive line of the 3 because of coaching.
I tell you this, Penn State's offensive line didn't look good. Drew Aller. Okay, with Drew, because I've been negative on him, let me start with the positives first. Because I thought he did some really good things.
I was like, he did pretty well.
He showed to me why people are excited for him. He also showed why I have some concerns, but so did Kyle McCord. I don't think JJ's good at all. So everything's even.
And you know,
he showed some arm talent that is special. Like I'm not going like.
People, he looked impressive. He did look impressive.
There's no point in people listening to me if I only say the negative things, because then I come off as a hater, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I have a concern. He has happy feet in the pocket.
He's young. That makes perfect sense.
Right, but that was my point of why I think that they're a year early and the hype of them. He has happy feet in the pocket. He runs out of the pocket too much. It didn't hurt him this game, and it may not hurt him because he's somehow more accurate on the run. I think he throws the ball better on the run. I think that's a negative thing when you play someone who is of your talent level and has linebackers and safeties who run a 4-3 and will sack you where West Virginia didn't. I think that could potentially be a concern. So I would not be happy that he did it. But like
I've seen it work in the NFL. So
but it doesn't work consistently. Like everyone that you say this works at is actually still good in the pocket. And he runs when he doesn't need to. But again, young. That's
a young person thing. That's a young quarterback type of thing.
Exactly. It is not a declarative statement that he can't fix it. Just what I saw.
Yeah. You might see the development of that happen throughout the season for real. Yeah. You might start seeing him get more confident just sitting there and maybe even taking a hit as he throws it.
But I would be concerned about the hits that he's going to take because his offensive line was not impressive, especially in pass blocking. Because whatever you want to say about Ohio State's offensive line, Kyle McCord didn't see much pressure at all that day.
West Virginia Indiana was very aggressive trying to get to the quarterback.
Indiana blitzed a lot, and their defensive coordinator was at Ohio State last year. But again, one game, whatever. Like you need 4 games before you make declarative statements, and unfortunately, none of them play anyone of value in the first 4 games except Ohio State.
Just Ohio State, Notre Dame. Penn State actually might.
No, they don't. I'm pretty sure they don't. I could be wrong. I don't have their schedule.
Illinois and Iowa actually, sir. Are there? Yeah. You go West Virginia, Delaware, Illinois, Iowa.
so I was wrong. So Ohio State and Penn State, we'll learn something about. Michigan, we just won't.
We probably
The only thing we could learn about Michigan is negative. If they go through
we
4
don't
games
really notice
and they
anything
don't
about
run the
Michigan.
ball well, then we know their running game is just not good.
Yeah,
The only thing we can learn
I'll
about
tell
them
you,
is
like the
negative.
only time I feel like there's like a real, well, I don't know, because Minnesota is kind of iffy now, but that'd be the only test probably for Michigan, and that's at week 7, 6.
Yeah. So, Keandre Lambert-Smith looked awesome. He looked amazing. He was almost the offensive player of the week. 4 receptions, 123 yards, 2 touchdowns. He had a long of 72 yards, so like most of it was on one play. But like we don't have to discredit.
I mean,
he looked good. He looked good.
A 70 something yard touchdown isn't it's impressive. That's impressive.
Did you see the pass on the touchdown?
Yes. Yeah, I did. Yeah, I did.
The
whole play was beautiful.
That was sick.
I was like, I don't know who's more impressive here.
It was literally like, oh no, oh my god! Like it was like, why is he running? What is he doing? And then he just takes off.
He just
right past the outstretched arm of the DB, and the dude just literally walked into the end zone. It was nice. Like Drew Aller, like I see some of the.
I think I was looking at, I forgot who I was looking at, and then I looked over at that right when that play happened. I was like, Jordan might have to say something nice about kid. I was like, Jordan might have to say nothing nice about kid.
I'm very interested to see how he develops, because he could very easily prove me wrong, be great, be the best quarterback in the Big Ten next year.
If he keeps up, if he has that confidence and just learns.
But here's the thing.
It's not this year, but
here's the thing.
He
also could just be a better arm talent, Sean Clifford, because Sean Clifford had games like this where he looked amazing, and then he on all of those games he had really, really bad.
That's why I said the confidence thing. If you keep up that persona that you're that guy, you'll have more of those games.
I don't think it's a confidence thing, because Sean Clifford had confidence. Sean Clifford just sucked.
No, I think there's confidence, and then there's I'm that guy. I think there is two different.
You think Sean Clifford didn't think he was that guy?
Not at all.
He was a 4-year starter at Penn State.
Yeah, no, not at all.
I disagree with you. I just don't think.
There's some guys that know they're not. I'll tell you like this. Do you think? What's the name? Who's the coach for the Vikings? Not the coach, but the quarterback.
Kirk Cousins.
Do you really think he thinks he's that guy? Really?
Yeah, I heard him talk. I watched the quarterback. I maybe would have answered it differently if I didn't watch the show, but I did watch the show, so I did. Yes. I just think, I think that it's football. It's week 1. You have to talk about what you see. I wanted to talk about the games. All 3 of them could come out, look amazing next week, and none of it matters.
Yeah.
But I will say, if any of them don't reach, and everyone's not going to reach their goal because all the goals.
It's
but
funny
if any of them fall shorter of their goals, I think we saw this game why they would fall short. Ohio State would fall short because of Ryan Day and the fact that he still hasn't figured out the running game. Like, actually, running game needs to play mad, and he's conservative. Michigan would fall short because their defense did not look as good as it was, especially their secondary, and their running game was weird, was questionable, and maybe it's not as dominant as it was. And Penn State would fall short because their running game also wasn't as dominant, and Drew Aller's a young quarterback that's going to make mistakes and can't sit in the pocket.
Yeah. And it's funny.
If any of them fall lower than what they should, I think it's going to be because of those reasons.
And even then, Ohio State won 23-3. Penn State won 38-15. Michigan won 30-3.
Yeah. So, all right, moving on. That was fun. I like,
do you 21 points between the 3 teams?
Yeah, I like. It's great to be here talking about real games, even if none of it's going to matter in a week, and they all fix these problems and go.
Probably fix these problems in a week or 2.
Yep, let's knock this out. Let's finish the rest of this in less than 10 minutes because there's not much. Player of the week, which is a new thing for us. I just thought it was going to be fun. So, player of the week, we have co-offensive player of the week. They're both on Wisconsin, and they needed this because they did not look great for a while. Ches Malusi, 13 carries, 157 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And it's like, cool. That's a great day. That's really good. You should be really happy for that. And then the other running back, who's actually the starter, also had 17 carries for 141 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah. They
What?
it was a long day. That was that was a long day. It took, like I was saying before, like sometimes you just gotta wear a team down on offense, and I think that's what happened here. 13 carries and 17 was that
30.
10, 20, 30 carries.
30.
30 carries between the two.
It's 30 carries for 298 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah, like they just ever so slowly until it finally broke. Because I think Braylon Allen had a long one.
Yep, and Ches had a long one too.
And I think those are late in the game.
That I don't remember because I didn't get to watch this game, unfortunately.
Yeah, I think they were late in the game. I think Braylon Allen's was late in the game. Yeah, and it was for a touchdown. I think it was late in the game for real. It was a slow burn, but they had themselves a game. Yeah, you should have just put running game.
But I wanted to put their stats. Yeah, I wanted to give them a shout out.
That's fair.
Defense was hard because the only player that I think is of any value on Northwestern's team had 19 tackles, but they lost. Oh. So I want to give Bryce Gallagher a shout out. He's the only one of value, but also fuck him because he's still there, so he's really hitting. But I have to give it to Tyler Newman.
19 tackles is crazy.
Yeah, I had to give it to Tyler Newman because they won the game, and he was the reason that they won the game. So he only had 3 tackles. He's a safety, whatever. But he had 2 interceptions, including the game-winning interception that gave the offense the ball back and let them go down for the game-winning score. It's got to be him. The impact was there. 2 interceptions in 1 week.
For who again?
Minnesota.
Okay.
Safety for Minnesota.
Yes, they did that. Yep, you're right, because Minnesota was looking to lose that game.
Yeah. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, offense player of the week, Ches Malusi, Braylon Allen. Defense, Tyler Newman. So, next week, and one thing just to let you all know, that's slightly different about the show, and this is what we're going to do, I think, maybe not every week, but in general, to keep the show under 2 hours. We're not going to do a full preview unless there's just something we really, really want to talk about. I think with the show on Monday, the better thing is the review anyway. But if we do the full preview, which we will, it's going to be great.
I don't think we'll start doing real previews until week 4 because it's Ohio State Notre Dame.
Yeah, just because we have to stop keeping the show at 2 hours. Like we have lives, we have things to do.
Yeah, I did actually. I got.
Yeah. So okay. So Friday, Indiana State plays Indiana, 7 p.m. on Big Ten Network. Illinois plays Kansas at 7:30 on ESPN2. If you watch that game, please, that's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I'm watching.
Or it's not, because Kansas is going to just destroy them. But if Indiana figures its life out, that's going to be a good game.
Also, Time Warner cable people, I'm sorry, you won't be able to watch that game if you wanted to. I'm sorry.
Is Spectrum and Time Warner the same company now? They are, right?
They always have been.
Oh, okay, yeah. That's right. It's chartered. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it's always been like they just switch. They be flipping the name. I'm old because I said Time Warner, but yeah, Spectrum. Yeah.
I'm old too because I knew exactly what you meant because I had Time Warner growing up. Okay, so Saturday, Delaware at Penn State, 12 on Peacock. Nebraska at Colorado.
Peacock.
Watch that game. That's going to be an amazing game.
It is going to be a great. It is going to be a good game. I'm sick of the commercials.
Yeah,
I'm sick of the. I'm sick. I get it. Dion is at Colorado, but like,
come on,
bro. Come on, get it out your mouth. Like, stand up. Like,
Nebraska at Colorado at noon on Fox. Purdue at Virginia Tech noon on Fox. ESPN2. Youngstown State at Ohio State noon on Big Ten Network. Iowa at Iowa State 3:30 on Fox. Richmond at Michigan State 3:30 on Big Ten Network. UNLV at Michigan 3:30 on CBS Paramount Plus.
Oh, cool! I can watch that.
UTEP at Northwestern on Big Ten Network. Charlotte at Maryland.
That's definitely the sickest game of the week. Or Charlotte, Maryland.
No, because Maryland's offense is going to be fun.
Okay, so then
Charlotte, Maryland, NBC
UTEP,
Peacock.
Northwestern.
Eastern Michigan at Minnesota, Big Ten Network. Temple at Rutgers, Big Ten Network. That's also in contention. Yeah. Wisconsin at Washington State, ABC. UCLA at San Diego State, Paramount. Stanford at USC.
Stanford USC might be. So here's my thing. Stanford USC is my Sickles rivalry.
Yeah,
because it's a Sickles game. Whether you want to admit it or not, that's a gross game.
Yeah, it's just not Sickles game of the week. It is a Sickles game, but not Sickles game of the week. And then we have Washington. And then hold on. We have Tulsa at Washington, and Oregon at Texas Tech to round it out. So we have two
Oregon
singles
at
games.
Texas Tech should be good.
Yeah, definitely. That is 7 p.m. on Fox. So we have two singles game of the week because me and Dante don't agree. Mine is Richmond at Michigan State because Michigan State just looked awful for most of that game. And like, why are you watching Richmond play football? Like UTEP
Richmond
is
sound like a
actually,
high school.
literally. So is it the Richmond Oilers? Is it that Coach Carter? Yeah, I think it is. Yep.
I think it
So
is.
Coach Carter. So I have Richmond at Michigan State. Dante has UTEP at Northwestern. I think they're both in contention. Why are you watching that game?
Like, yeah, I honestly know for real. Like, why are you? Because my thing is, I'll tell you this: Northwestern is going to be in a lot of my contentions for Sickles Game of the Week for this season alone.
It's literally going to be like it's literally going to be like LeBron with the MVP. You just have to give it to someone else because you're tired.
Like, I don't know, but UTEP in Northwestern, bro, please.
Yeah. All right. So thank you for traveling I-80 with us. On the road trip, you have to take a stop. You have to take a pit stop. You gotta use the bathroom. You gotta get gas at $7 a gallon. That doesn't. Did you see the meme where it was like my gas tank when I put $20 in? Man.
Yeah.
You gotta get some gas, you gotta get a break, you gotta stretch your legs. So this is our pit stop. This is the time where we talk about something that is not Big Ten related. Sometimes it's not even football related. It's whatever we want to talk about. Mine is football related. Mine is Dion. Dion is so annoyingly great, but it's like he's older now, and so it's not as cool as it used to be. It's just like an old black man yelling at you, and it's just like it's not as cool as when he was like 21.
It's not a bravado type of thing anymore. It's very uncle type.
Yeah.
Hey, this the right way.
Like,
this the right young blood. Like he definitely calls you young blood.
Yeah, easy. Like Uncle Dion is just not as entertaining. Like it's still him. It's the bravado. It's just like
it's more relaxed. It's more inspirational than outward bragging.
Yeah, but then it's also just like this weird. Like he went into his press conference and he asked reporters who it's literally not their job to root for his team if they believed yet. And it's like, dog, like they had a reason.
There were legit reasons. Like, come on.
This isn't like 1998 when you're like an all-pro corner still in your playing career. Like no one's seen this team. They won one game last year. Like they weren't wrong to doubt you. And he's just like, "Do you believe in me? Do you believe in the team? Do you believe in?" It's like, Dion, bro.
Even now, it's still kind of relaxed because, like, bro, it could have been a fluke. It really could have.
Yeah, it's just like, come on, like, and that's why it's like the weird. Like,
I hope it's not, and I'm praying that it's not. But it could have been.
It's just like your uncle, just like, what you know about this, uncle? This is 50 Cent. I was alive too.
We didn't. People having doubts were valid. Like it made perfect sense for people to have doubts about your team and about you coaching in I guess a real conference. And again,
TCU not even TCU was in the national championship last year. Like it wasn't like you were playing Michigan State, bro. It's a team that like they were in the national championship last year.
And then even then, Dion, you're talking about, do we believe in you? Like, do we believe now? You gave up 45. Like,
so it's just like I'm happy for Colorado. I'm happy for Shedeur because like I like what I saw from him, but you still want to see him play up. I knock on wood. I hope this is audible. I don't know how Travis Hunter can play 110 snaps for 12 or 13 games in a season. Me personally, I would pick a side of the ball. And so like if he was going to play offense, then on like third, like when you really need to stop in the red zone, like stuff like that, I'd put him at corner. Possibly, or if he's going to play corner, I'd put him on offense, maybe like beginning of drives in the half to get points and like third downs and like big stuff like that. Or like at the quarter when you're losing something. So like I would try to put him at like 80 snaps. You know what I'm saying? Like that's still
a lot. Because in today's football, there's too much. There's too many plays happening on both sides of the ball.
110 snaps.
Yeah.
So that would be a concern, but
Let's hope.
Hope
Yeah,
y'all can
I'm
hear that.
hoping.
Knock on wood. I'm not trying to put that on him, but that's how I would do it. Like I would still play him on both sides, but it's like whatever one you think you need him at the most, he plays every snap over there, and then he plays the important snaps on the other. But he's
Yeah,
not there all the time.
nickel
And maybe
package. Like
and
he
maybe that's what they wanted this game, but they just needed him because they gave up 45. Like
5.
maybe that's how he's going to be playing in other times, and he just couldn't this game. Like we don't know until we see them like blow someone out, and we see if they relax on that or not. But yeah, like, I mean, Deion's great. Colorado's cool. I think it's good for the sport. I like Deion. I like his son. Like he's just ridiculously talented. It's just like it's just not cool anymore. Because like once you get old, you're no longer cool. And like so he hasn't.
I don't think that's
that
true.
sounds mean. That sounds mean. So okay, I don't want to put it. It's not that once you get old, you automatically are uncool. That's not what I'm trying to say. And I apologize if I offended anyone.
It's just not the same.
It's you're just a little out of touch. It's like older rappers who try to rap about certain things, and it's like no. You need to be rapping like Jay-Z. Jay-Z raps about
Be
like
an old man.
mortgages.
Rap like an old man.
Yeah,
rap
he
about
raps
older
like
men
mortgages
things.
and like being rich. Like you're
rap about older men
45.
things.
You don't need to rap about being in the club, bro. She's 19. Like now I think you're weird. Like it's just like it's just like sometimes Deion doesn't realize that like, bro, you're a little older. You're in your 50s, like
50.
you brag a little different. You know, it's just
Deion,
not.
oh my god!
But he's always true to himself. So I love that. I think it's good for the sport. This is not anti-Deion rhetoric because if it is, he's probably going to hear it and use it as cannon fodder. Also, his
so then this is anti-Deion rhetoric because then we gonna get attention.
You're right. His pregame speeches are amazing. Like I love Deion. Like don't get me wrong, Deion is great. It's really just like your uncle. It's just like, bro, shut up. like what you know about this? This is the most popular song, and this is NWA. Everyone knows NWA. Like what are you talking about? Like this. It's Ice Cube. We still see him. Like what do you mean? What do I know about this? Like this is not
like if you wanted to talk to a 16-year-old and said that, maybe, but like I'm 30. Leave me alone. I know who this is. Like
yeah. So okay.
I know about Good Day. Shut up.
All right. What is yours?
Oh man. My pit stop. So it's that time of the year again. It's that time where people who have people in their lives who are into video games and sports is where your partner might fully disappear. And I just wanted to bring up the fact that 2K really might have botched the easiest layup I've ever seen in video game history. They have Mamba moments because this is the Kobe Bryant, 2K24, so it's the Kobe Bryant edition. They have Mamba moments. Guess what moment's not on there?
The 81.
The 81.
Okay.
The 81. The most iconic moment of his career is not on there. They got when he dropped like 30 something points on Michael Jordan when he played as a Washington Wizard. That's an iconic moment compared to the 81.
Bro, Dante, no, come on. We got to stop the podcast. I don't even want to talk about that. It's okay. What are you doing, bro? Like, what are you doing?
We all know the game's not going to work at launch. That game comes out in like 5 days, and it's not going to work. But it's just, I saw that. And I
do this every year when you tell me it's about to come out. I forget that it comes out so close to Madden. I always think it comes out
a week or two. Madden comes out, and then a week or two later, 2K comes right out.
That's crazy. Yeah. I still don't have Madden yet because I'm broke. But that's unfortunate. I'm gonna get it though. I buy it every year. Dante.
I really don't want to get either game this year for real. I'm only getting it because of the cover, but I really don't.
Even if Madden is bad, they have minicamp. But at least give me something to do when I'm bored.
They did bring minicamp back. It took them forever, but they did bring it back, I guess.
2K, come on, do better.
It was actually kind of crazy. There was actually a few iconic moments that went through my head, and I'm like, but we're picking these.
Oh, speaking of, I hope NCAA has that. You remember NCAA used to do that? Because you remember, I think it was 13 or 14. You had who's the running back that played for Oklahoma State? The legend. Is it Emmitt Smith? Which one played at Oklahoma State? Is it Bo Jackson? Emmitt Smith?
Bo played at Auburn.
Is it Barry Sanders?
Oh my God, I think it might be.
Is it Barry Sanders?
I'm about to.
It's what I know. You could do it with a couple, but I specifically remember the one at Oklahoma State, or Arkansas.
Oklahoma State, Barry Sanders.
Okay, so like you could do like the Barry Sanders season.
And he ran a 4.340.
Yeah, I hope that they bring that back. But 2K do better.
Yeah, it was just there are moments I'm like, you really don't think nobody wanted to drop 81 with Kobe? Are you serious? Just the easy, like, fast break, no one's there, no one's even trying to play defense, and you still botch it. Still botch it. But
all right,
you're gonna
y'all.
get my money from me, and then I'm done. Like, I can't do it no more.
Yeah. I'm probably like, I don't even know if I'm gonna get it. I know it's the Kobe thing, but I don't buy physical games. I don't even have the one where I can put CDs in there, and they don't give you the posters and stuff anymore, so it's just not even worth it.
Yeah, that
and the money's not going to the Mamba Foundation either.
true.
If I had the physical, I probably would get it just because. But like, I don't need to see.
I have
on my
but that's the thing. I have 10.
Device.
I still have the case for 10. I still have the case for 17.
Did you?
And I got the case for 20 or 21, whatever one that was. So for 21, because he's on 3. So I have those 3 cases.
What system do you have again?
The 5.
Do you have the digital or the?
I have the disc.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I was like, you're not about to play me. Yeah, I'm not. You're not, because like I got the disc because I'm going to buy physical copies, because you're not going to charge me full price for a game that doesn't have a physical copy.
That's fair. That's fair. So the reason why I didn't do it is because like it's more disrespectful for me to pay $70 for a game and then you try to give me $5. So I just didn't like. I understand $5.
No, I get that. I get that.
But at this point, you can't even buy anything with $5. I was just like, no, I'm just gonna download it. I don't care. Especially because I hate that once I realized that the CD writes all the way on this PlayStation, so it still uses the same amount of data, but you can't play it without the CD. I was just like, that's dumb.
Yeah, but the thing is, some games you don't have to re-download. It just, if you put the disc in, it'll just pop up. It's certain games, but it depends on the game. My thing is that it's harder to return a game digitally than it is with the physical copy. PlayStation tries their complete best not to give you your money back.
I've never had to return a game, but I also buy like the same 3 games. I buy like the same 3 games, and then I wait a year until a game comes out to see if it's good and ask all of my friends that played it. So I've never bought a bad game because I just don't spend money on games. That's why I tell people I'm not a gamer. Like I play the game, but I'm not a gamer. I still haven't bought Ghost of Tsushima 3 years later. But like even that, I wasn't going to buy it when it dropped because I wanted other people to play it. So,
you know what pissed me off? I asked Brandon to borrow it. He was like, "Oh man, I got it digitally. Why did you do that? Why did you do that?"
That's hilarious. That's hilarious. All right, y'all. Thank you for traveling down I-80 with us. As always, I'm your host, Jordan. You can follow me on Twitter at JordanW330. Dante.
And I'm Dante. You can follow me at Dante M10216.
And you can follow the show on YouTube, also at JordanW330, or just by going to the links and the show plan and all of that kind of stuff. Please, even if you listen through podcasting, like please still like and subscribe to the Instagram, and then you can follow the show to the YouTube, and then you can follow the show on IG at I-80 Football Show. As always, thanks. We'll see you next week.